Socom 1 and Socom 2 were basically fucking legendary games. So how exactly do you follow up two games that set such a high standard for military shooters on the PlayStation 2? Well, by releasing Socom 3, of course.
Well, if you ever plan to motor west, just heading my way, that's the highway, that's the best. Get your kick on Route 66. Get your kick on Route 66.
Socom 3 would release 2 years after Socom 2 in 2005. The game would take the series to even greater heights by having a more fleshed out campaign, bigger maps, gun customization, and also vehicles. It was something else. See, a lot of people didn't like Socom 3 when it first came out, with many considering it to be a downgrade compared to its predecessor. In a way, that was kind of true. There's a lot of weird shit in Socom 3. To compensate for the large maps, it's easy to tell right off the bat that the game looked like fucking shit graphics-wise compared to Socom 2, but everything else about the game was an improvement. Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, Socom 3 is probably remembered more as being the game that wasn't as good as Socom 2. I think looking back on it now, it's better than I had remembered, albeit with a lot of glaring issues. But for me, it was always a game that I enjoyed. It was the last that I had participated in shit like game battles, and I had a positive experience with the multiplayer. I mean, one of my fondest memories of the game was team killing with vehicles on Christmas Day. Good times. But that's really besides the point. We like to focus on campaigns and shit here, so we'll mostly discuss that, but I do want to add that Socom 1, 2, and even 3 are games that I treasure in no small part thanks to the multiplayer component of the game. In fact, I'd consider it to be half of the reason why I fucking admire the PlayStation 2 so much, which is why I'm bothering to mention this shit in the first place. So anyways, let's get into Socom 3. So with Socom 3, it feels like Zipper had put far more emphasis on storytelling this time around by having the player focus on 3 regions this time and bringing the grand total of the number of missions to 14. The game begins with the SEALs being deployed to North Africa, having an assist in a country dealing with the Civil War. Out of all 3 regions, this was probably the one that I enjoyed the most, though the South Asia and even the Poland missions were okay too. In the same vein as the previous games, you're doing shit. No, really, you're blowing shit up, rescuing people, all that. Probably the most difficult mission I had to deal with was the final mission. I swear to fuck, I died on the last part like maybe 20 times, continually seeing this cutscene where the brewery blows up. It was a bullshit level, but I can say that after I was finished, I was satisfied with the end. Strangely enough, between the first 3 Socom games, I think the one that I had the most fun with was Socom 3. The gun customization, albeit simplistic, was fun to fuck around with before missions, and having vehicles made getting around feel like a blast. It switched it up a lot and made going through the campaign a lot more enjoyable over the previous games. Not to say that Socom 1 and 2 had bad missions or anything like that. They were fine. It was just the extra shit in 3's campaign made it more fun to play. I'd also add that the campaign was way easier in 3 versus 1 and 2. I mean, Socom 1 and 2 were fucking hard-ass games, and 3 had its own moments, but there was some shit that kind of made it feel a lot less bullshit. This is mainly thanks to stuff like checkpoints. In the previous games, you die and that shit's over. However, in Socom 3, once you hit a checkpoint, you get health and ammo back. You have no idea how much this helps when it comes to going through the game too. I mean, I spent a lot of time getting pissed off while playing Socom 1 and 2, but I feel like I breezed through 3 for the most part. Except for that part with the brewery. Fuck that shit. So while I think that Socom 3 had a positive impact on me, there was one last Socom game that would come up before it felt like the series would go dormant in my life for a while. And strangely enough, it was a game that I didn't actually bother playing the campaign of until I decided to make this video. That game is 2006's Socom Combined Assault. While the game itself almost feels like an expansion, it offers a bit more than that. See, Combined Assault would offer a co-op campaign and switch shit up a bit compared to all three of the previous games. It would also remove the replenishing health shit that made Socom 3 feel easy as balls, and instead gave the player the option to bring along health kits to missions that could be used to heal yourself or your squad. Checkpoints were still in the game too, but you didn't appear to get health back from them. The game also switched it up by changing the mission structure too. Instead of having a linear campaign, you got a bunch of random missions that you could do in any order that you choose. The gun customization and shit is pretty much like Socom 3, but there are different guns and attachments. It's mostly the same anyways, so I don't really need to discuss much here. I think the campaign of Combined Assault was an attempt at furthering the storytelling improvements of Socom 3 by instead focusing only on one specific place, a fictional country called Tajikistan. In the game, we're still playing as the same dudes in Socom 3, continuing our journey of fucking shit up. The mission structure is essentially the same, each level having its own set of random shit you gotta do to complete it. Some missions are short as hell, and some feel long and tedious. I have to be completely real, even though I like the mission structure of Socom Combined Assault, I thought the game felt fucking boring as shit compared to Socom 3. Maybe if it was possible for me to co-op the game with someone else, I might have enjoyed it more. But what I did play for myself here was just a shitty ass campaign that I burned through and don't ever want to bother with again. I couldn't give two fucks about any of the shit going on in the story. It's whatever. Some asshole is trying to overthrow a government and replace it with a militaristic regime. And you know what? Who the fuck really cares? The first three Socom games were great, but Combined Assault sucks ass. And you know what? It's not even the worst Socom game either. So with that, we're all finished with the PlayStation 2 era Socom games, with more to come and some ups and downs that would eventually cause Zipper Interactive to get their ass fucked raw dog by Sony.